15 million copies have been sold of a game that is now going to be released on Xbox, and it's going to do gangbuster numbers. A lot of people are going to buy it. I've already bought my copy. I freaking can't wait. But Spider-Man 2, $315 million to make, right? Spider-Man No Way Home, the film, $200 million to make, which is $115 million less. You want to know how much Spider-Man No Way Home made at the box office worldwide?
Like $1 billion something.
$1.921 billion.
Holy smokes.
Almost $2 billion worldwide, and the film cost $200 million to make. Right? This is why Sony, as a corporation, is going to have to make some really big decisions on what they do, going multiplat versus PC day and date sooner than later. Because you got to remember, the people that are in charge right now are all the money people. People that are making these big money decisions. And that big money decision came the way of putting Helldivers 2. Now, some people have suggested the push to get Helldivers 2 on had something to do, and I don't know, but it makes sense. The $400 million bath that they took with Concord, right? The delay of Marathon into next year because of all the battles that Bungie is currently fighting, both internally and legally, with all of the art stealing that went on, right? Jade Raymond's studio, Haven, does it exist anymore? I don't know. I know that she's no longer there, and I know Fair Games, nowhere to be found. Internally, the conversation is that it's not a good game, right? So you have Concord Disaster, you have Haven, which was a purchased studio, and now you have a game we don't know if it's coming out. You got a delay of Marathon, and on top of that, Ben Studios is another example of it. They didn't get the sequel to Days Gone like they wanted, and they are currently working on what? Not a single-player game that they're known for. They're working on a games as a service game after their other game that they were working on was canceled. Sony is in a pickle financially. So I would imagine that the move to PC, at least to PC, is going to be sooner than later.
Yeah. It's got to be. Like, again, Final Fantasy 16 launched. It was a PlayStation exclusive. It underperformed. It finally hit Steam. It did good, I guess, but I don't think it did as good as it would have day and date.
I have a point on that, though. At the time when Final Fantasy 16 launched, I had not even seen a PlayStation 5 in real life yet. And neither had most people.
That's true. That's very true. But then we talked about this a couple episodes ago, maybe. Final Fantasy 15 was a multiplat launch. Right, and it was like the best-selling Final Fantasy recently, and so I don't know, man. Square finally wising up and going, hey, we're just going to be multi-platform because we want to sell, we want to make all the money and not some of the money, right? And so we have to acknowledge that. I don't see a Sony that doesn't go, hey, we made CD players for years, and it didn't matter who made the CD we played. We were just CD players and Walkmans and all that. So the PlayStation hardware being more just this, you pop your Blu-ray game in or download from the PlayStation Store and everybody's publishing to it. And then they're also publishing their content everywhere else. That shouldn't be weird, right? It's weird because it's gaming, but it shouldn't be weird because media as a whole is pretty platform agnostic. I can play a Blu-ray on any Blu-ray player, right? And so like that should have, I've always thought that was the goal back during like even the 360 days. Like I would just like to buy one piece of hardware that plays everything. And the PC is really that thing now. It's just all the licensing and all of that goes into it. Sony moving that direction just is them catching up to what Xbox has been planning for the last decade, right?
Yeah, but let's also like give Sony some interesting credit in this regards. If we, go back in time, this is what they had somewhat attempted to do with the PS3. They advertise the PS, like they tried to even classify it as a PC for, I think, tax reasons. But you could install other operating system. Yeah, well, what is a console? It's a PC with a limited, like feature set. Like it's got some restrictions and some lockdowns. And if you're a Nintendo person, it means you're going to get banned or something. If you try to go into the OS. But that is what PlayStation 3 attempted to do. And, like you could add a printer on the PS3. Right. It was just insane. Like, and so what Xbox has been moving towards is that kind of unified ecosystem. And I think gamers win in that respect. I think if you as a gamer, because I've seen chat like, I get why consoles are great. I enjoy a console. It's great, especially with the kids. They don't have to worry about drivers and updates. The only real catch-22 is like, oh yeah, that game isn't on this platform. We have to go to this other platform to play it. And we just choose not to do that because, again, gaming is like, I want to sit down, I want to play a game, and then I'm going to go on with my busy life. If you're going to have to make me jump through hoops, I'm just going to go to the next easiest thing to play in the library. People are asking me, for example, just to kind of put a little cherry on this, is like, hey, are you going to play Final Fantasy 11 with your kids? Because I just recently got back into that classic MMO. And I said, honestly, I'd like to, but right now it would be really complicated to try and get all of that working. Whereas I could just play any of these other games that I already have with the kids without any worry because they support crossplay, because we have these different consoles and they all run it. So it's like, it's the path of least resistance as a gamer that we see the bulk of people go through. We obviously will have the diehards. If Xbox can blend with this hybrid, and that's the, I guess, best term for it, the ease of console gaming with the freedom of PC, and that could be its own product where you don't have to worry about drivers. Sure, you're not going to go and switch out parts, somewhere down the road or something like that. It ain't modular, but you don't have to worry about these things. It's just, we're going to handle it, and it's just going to play games.
This is what Apple does with their hardware. You buy a MacBook, it's a MacBook until you buy your new MacBook. So you better lock in what you want for the next 7 years because that's what you got. But I don't think it's a bad solution. If the hardware is good enough and can actually last that long. The only reason PC people myself included, I don't play as many PC games, but I'm upgrading my PC. Like it seems every year I'm buying something for it, right? And that's just because I like to. But I think the normies out there, the general population, just wants a thing that works, and that's it. There's nothing complicated there.
Stinking normies, man.
You know what? I'm a normie, folks. I don't game on PC.